Might have somebody listening to us that wasn't previously.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I have a whole new pool of potential listeners.
True.
Oh, a friend of the show, Chill Mills, is watching wolves eat bison. He's out west somewhere. Cesar, did he say he was going somewhere?
I have no idea.
I didn't see anything either, right?
It's not telling with him.
I know. we just randomly get this stuff. I know he's out west. That's it.
I think Roussel is more in the know with what he does than I do. So
I think that's likely. Our stream freeze? It looks frozen. Can y'all tell if
it's going?
It looks fine?
Yeah.
It's frozen on my side. Let me pull it back up.
Bump, 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 bump. Do. There
we go. It's just me staring at my phone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 364 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game. I got nothing. And college football preview podcast. That's right. Come here for video games, stay for the college football preview. Tonight we have Colorado and Georgia Tech going at it. Way out there in Colorado. I'm not sure what University of Colorado is. Because there's also Colorado State. Where would we say is Colorado in Boulder? Do we know?
Probably.
The home of the Deion Sanders. We'll say that. The man, the myth, the legend. Atlanta legend, Deion Sanders. But you're not here for college football. You're here for video games. Tonight's video game news. Is Sony making a hybrid system? ? Bungie leadership is changing. Xbox Cloud Gaming now more available. Does that mean there's more clouds? How does that work exactly?
Oh, yeah. More clouds.
More throwing up sick clouds. Nintendo holding Switch 2 devs? ? Oh, we have 2 question marks. Well done, Brant. You're making this a mysterious preamble for this show. And last but not least, we have your September PlayStation Essential Games. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman. College football fan, aficionado. Joined tonight by Newsmaster and our resident NCAA football sideline reporter, Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, welcome. As you slowly unwrap the world's most crinkly movie or kiss chocolate. Man, just go ahead and get in there. Get it over with. Jesus, what is happening? What was getting unwrapped so intensely the past couple of minutes? Listeners are checking their
Pumpkin Jack.
Pumpkin Jack. I think I have that for Steam. Listeners were all checking their headphones like, what the fuck is happening? I'm going to get some crazy audio here. Have you played Pumpkin Jack on another platform, Brant McKee?
No, I have not.
It will be up your alley. It is a 3D platformer.
Hey, look, somebody's streaming Delta Force right now. Got the alert.
Somebody streaming Delta Force?
Somebody's streaming Delta Force.
I told another employee about it today. I was like, wait a minute. Because they're trying to get off of Call of Duty Warzone specifically. And I was like, we just tried out. We played the Battlefield beta and it was good. And they were like, how's Battlefield? It seems slow. Would y'all say Battlefield is slow compared to Call of Duty?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Still died a lot, right? But then I thought about Delta Force. I was like, we had a lot of fun with that last weekend. That was actually a pretty good game. I know we're going to talk about it later. Oh God, where were we? Introductions.
This is our introduction.
Also here, resident soundboard master and lore master, Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
Cesar, if you were to slowly unwrap something via microphone, what would you pick to
I will not talk about
disassemble?
any of that. So
You wouldn't be unwrapping anything?
no, just I'm not going to talk about any of that. I mean, I will bring up to your NCAA that it's not in our news, but
Oh,
Sports Business Journal has reported that EA Sports college basketball video game talks hit a snag.
no, I thought that was a done deal. I thought we were good to go.
They want to be exclusive, but they're also talking to 2K Games, and so EA's mad.
2K made a good
Ready to pull-
basketball game. Yeah.
They're ready to pull the plug because EA
Ooh.
is only making a college basketball game if they get exclusivity.
Do they have
My
the
guess is-
exclusive rights to college football? To your knowledge?
I don't know. I don't think so. My guess is that they're going for exclusivity on the basketball because they can't make a NBA Live product that works. So I guess they're like they can't compete in that space. So it's like
How did that happen? How did they just totally flub out of the NBA space? Isn't there like an NBA Elite PS4 one floating around that's like super expensive? Maybe PS3? Maybe it's been that long?
I think the one with Joel Embiid is the last one they made. That was it.
Yeah.
That's still, I think, part of the EA play. But no, I read that earlier this morning saying that they are getting ready to back out of that
Wow.
because they want exclusivity. And NCAA basketball is willing to work with other groups.
Here we were thinking we'd have another college basketball game.
I mean, it won't be from EA, right? I mean, it seems like 2K is all in.
Younger listeners may not know, but these sports games, like people know FIFA or whatever what they call it, ESPN FC, you used to get 4 or 5 soccer games every year. You used to get 4 or 5 college basketball games every year. Your major players, EA had a football, 2K had a football, Sony for a long time had a first party football. Nintendo had first party basketball. They had NBA Courtside, I think was the name of that franchise. Xbox tried their own sports. They called it because they couldn't get EA to pitch in for Xbox Live. Y'all remember that? So they came up with the Xbox Sports Network. It was like NFL Fever, and like you would get 3 brand new NFL games. It wasn't just Madden, and it drove innovation. Like you had better features across the different titles, and Cesar famously is a fan of that arcade style PS1 NFL franchise that I'm sure Blitz ended up borrowing some things from. So you had innovation in those spaces. I miss those days. I feel like every week we talk about some sort of variety in gaming and the lack thereof. So just another example. Hopefully they straighten that out, Cesar. I like to keep up with that one and know some news about how that shakes out eventually.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's interesting.
Let's get into the actual news here. Sony is reportedly planning a Nintendo Switch-style PlayStation 6 portable. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC.com. It's kind of like the biggest news of the week, right? It's been, I don't know if it's the same story or more people are confirming that this is.
No, I think it's Moore's Law is dead. So I think he leaked the specs early about the PS6, and then he came out and said that there's going to be 3 versions of it, where they're going to have a hybrid console, a S-like version, and then you have the standard one. And it's going to target 3 different price points, and I guess it's because, people have been complaining that gaming's just so damn expensive, as it is, or it's getting there, that they're trying to give people options, right? So, and essentially, they just said that if they do come with handheld, it would dock. So, and we were all assuming that these the lower tier ones are going to be probably won't have any disc-based stuff, right? It's probably going to be all digital. So,
yeah,
that's probably a good guess.
Cuphead and things like that.
So, but you know how the internet works. Everybody just like, oh, they're just copying Nintendo. Oh, they're just copying Microsoft. So, I gotta give them props. I mean, at least they're trying to differentiate a value, because people were arguing before, like, oh, they're the only real console maker now. Their console's gonna be $1,000. There's no competition. So it's like somebody's always spinning some story now. So
I I mean, for 2 generations, we've had a choice between a standard console and a pro console, right? So there's been some tiers there already. And the PSP eventually had a version of that console that you could dock. You could play that on a television with component cables and a DualShock 3. So that even predated the Switch. Was that only that PSP Go that did that, or did the PSP either 2000 or 3000 did those also dock?
3000 did.
I'm about to say,
3000 did the little analog cable with the chip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was only. I feel like the 2000 did too, but the PSP Go had that cradle, like they had a specific cradle that you could dock that in.
Can't forget the Sega Nomad though. If you're going back,
I love the Nomad. Systems. Yeah, it is.
Or the Atari Linux.
Yep,
Atari Linux. The God, I have one. It's a Turbo. What do they call that thing? Turbo Express. And that was a portable Turbo Duo.
It's the one that's like not truly portable, but it does have like the screen and all that on it. Is that the one you're referring to?
It's a Turbo Graphics 16 that has a screen on
really?
it. You put the actual cartridges into it and everything. Yeah. A friend of mine found it at a pawn shop for $40 and sold it to me for $40.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Many, many moons ago. That's pretty much it. So that's our summarized this whole article. There's a bunch of tech specs in there. I didn't realize the channel was called Moore's Law is Dead. I thought that was the name of the article that I read. I was like, oh, I guess Moore's Law is out the window, but that's actually the name of the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Moore's Law is, of course, you can double the size of a die on a chipset every 2 years, I think. And then it gets smaller and smaller and more capacity over and over and over. So it's a pretty good name for a channel.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I guess some like Richard's alluded to here that there's some specs on there, but anything can change. I think it says he mentioned that they're targeting a late 2027 launch for this new 3-parter generation here. So
that seems like so soon, but also it's 7 years after the PS5 came out. They still feel new to me for some reason. I'm not sure what it is. Is it like the COVID time compression? Like it just feels like, yeah.
Probably a little bit of that. And the fact that they're still, up until recently, there's a lot of games still coming out for PS4.
Yeah.
So.
And I have played so many live service games with you guys this generation. Like this has been the generation of online for me. Like I've never played more Halo or Warzone or Battlefield or whatever it is we're getting into. Like we always find something through the weekend. Hopefully we'll be playing some Delta Force campaign.
So yeah, the only thing I can add to that is that Yoshi P from Final Fantasy 14 and 16 fame mentioned on there that recently that we don't really need new hardware anytime soon. So like there's nothing screaming for it. The only one that really needed was the Switch, right?
Yes,
we saw
desperately.
That. Mm-hmm. I mean, look how much longer the PS4 lasted, right? So I mean, we probably could have got a PS5 around this time.
Yeah,
probably had a better launch. It was probably a little too soon. So hopefully that PlayStation 6 will get pushed back to like 2030. I think, because I think PS5 is still relevant.
Yeah.
I think PS5 is still relevant, and then people who wants a little bit more power, you have that Pro option for you, right? So, I think there's options out there now that can buy it until, when we really need it. So,
or you have a PC and you're buying Sony's offerings through, the new Spider-Man game or Last of Us on PC or Uncharted, or you have an Xbox and you buy Helldivers and you're supporting PlayStation Studios at this point. This last week saw the launch of Helldivers on Xbox and Gears of War on PlayStation. I sent a picture of my PlayStation copy to a friend of the show, Charles. And he's just like, man, that's crazy. I have to get a copy. I need this. It's just wild how the times have changed. Are we ready for new hardware? Like, I mean, I skipped the Pro. Would I get a PlayStation 6? What would I play on the PlayStation 6? Warzone? I'm getting a prettier Warzone. I mean, I say that facetiously because I've collected more for the PlayStation 5 than I have the Switch or the Xbox easily in the past like 4 or 5 years. If I get a third-party physical copy of something, and we've all talked about this on the show, but it tends to be on PlayStation. I don't know what's on that Xbox disc.
Yeah.
Xbox rules and backwards compatibility, and I was buying Nintendo first party, but it was getting to the point, as Cesar mentioned, it starting to run like booty hole on that original hardware, but they've leaned into that backwards compatibility pretty well.
Yeah.
So kudos to Nintendo on that, but they've said in this, like, the PlayStation 6 is definitely going to be backwards compatible, right? Like, that's not even something we really have to kick around anymore. It's just an evolution of the Pro.
I think it's AMD chipset, right? So it should be, you're going to have some compatibility issues with certain games like you had, but it's probably going to be a small pool of them.
And some weird peripheral stuff, like might need a new camera adapter or something like that.
Even then, I mean, sometimes these CPUs run at a higher clock speed and can make games run less efficiently. And, maybe if the developer's not around, they can't patch it in there. Some of that stuff has to be patched and fixed and allocated to work with new hardware. So you're always going to have a small percentage that it's not going to run as intended.
Yeah. Or you get things with emulation, like where game was designed to run at 30 frames per second. If you do 60 frames per second, it breaks things. It's not meant to run that way. So they have to release a version for that console.
It's been like that for a while, because I remember, playing Mega Man Legends on the Vita, and like if you put disk loading speed fast, there's pieces of Mega Man's face that won't load properly. He's just like emptiness.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like
you had to back it down.
Yeah, you had to go back to the regular speed. Yeah, so like you'll run into quirky stuff depending on the game. So.
Oh, we have nobody joining us. Did we start too early? Like, did we not advertise Friday night recording?
No. Always is usually the time we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as people have, it's Friday night, right? So
yeah,
people have lives,
and going into a 3-day weekend. You're right.
Yeah. So
kind of digging the Fridays, to be honest. Good wind down for the week. Let's move on to the next bit of news. From VGC.com, Jordan Middler, Bungie CEO Pete Parsons is leaving after nearly a decade. I thought he'd been there longer, but says Justin Truman will take over as new CEO. This is the guy with the big car collection, right? That's right.
The one that's leaving, yes, because that was the one where he had not reportedly, but he has spent majority of his bonus on those cars while people were getting laid off. Yeah.
And I laugh because it's ridiculous.
And then advertising it, right? Because, a normal human being would probably like, I'm going to, I deal with people's livelihoods, so I probably should downplay my hobbies, and not.
Right.
I mean,
nobody's going to be in Iwata from Nintendo, where when they had a downturn in economic fortune, he donated his salary. Didn't he cut it down to like a quarter of what it was or something? Just something crazy. Not even a bonus, his salary. He knew he was good, but this guy's advertising spending money on cars as they lay off people. Parsons originally joined Bungie in 2002, working as an executive producer on Halo 2 and Halo 3. He would ascend to his current role as CEO in 2016. That's right. Right after all the Destiny stuff got off the ground, right? There's a quote from him. Join the incredible family at Sony Interactive. More quotes, more corporate speak. And then they wrap up on marathon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it
does say that Justin Truman is the studio chief of development, and he's going to be filling the space of CEO. So
I had never heard that name until this article.
Bungie is officially the Truman Show over there.
Fix your game.
I'm still waiting for Sony to spin off these live service games into like under a Bungie umbrella here with a different name.
And just let them handle it? Like, what do you mean by that?
And just move people under there, like manage Arrowhead and stuff like that for those live service games.
Since they gambled so much on what direction that was going, and then it just kind of laid an egg, just let them be under the umbrella that handles it the best.
I mean, no, just kind of separate it. But I mean, because you saw the articles from Herman, what they did in interviews with Herman Hulst, where he said, that don't be alarmed that you've seen all this stuff canceled early. They learn from Concord. They're not going to sit there and something doesn't look right, let it go to the end and hope it's for the best. Because I said that's the product of what they learned from Concord. So that's why we saw a lot of live service games recently from them being canceled. So, and they said they would rather do it now than to waste money in development and then have another crash and burn. So
I would play Concord again. If they said, "Hey, Concord's back out," I would think I would play it again. Brant laughs.
Yeah, I'd give it. I guess I'd give it a try too.
But
unless it's still they're charging you for it.
Because they considered MLB The Show as part of their live service games too, so that's why I'm like I'm waiting for them to kind of like get under that umbrella, so that way all those games go day and date on multiple avenues of ways of playing it, right? Mobile, Switch, to
make it consumer
Xbox.
Friendly and like its own environment. Yeah.
So I mean that's the way to win, right? I mean you launch it on PS5 only or PlayStation consoles only. I mean, your PS4 is already out the window, right? So most of these companies have, they don't make disc anymore for PS4 in America. So like you have to get physical copies in Europe or in Japan, and now like they're starting to just drop the PS4 versions of games now that we saw a Switch copy of come out from like like Pocket Bravery. That's like a 2D fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Came on PS5 and Switch and skipped PS4 altogether. So it's like anything recently has been kind of just been skipping it, even though it probably could run on there. So if it can run on Switch, I'm pretty sure it can run on PS4. So
oh yeah. I haven't paid attention to that. I haven't seen that like kind of turn away. I'm still buying PS4 games, but I feel like it's just old stuff. Like I'm not hunting down new releases on PS4 specifically.
I think it's just the reason why is because it's a saving on labor and optics, and you don't have to worry about people pouring towards it. There's a big enough console pool from PS5 now, and it's like 80 million shipped. Mm-hmm. So I mean, my guess is probably 70 something sold. So I mean, you're only like 50 less than PS4s. I guess they must have saw a downturn in PS4 sales, that they were like, all right, maybe it's time to step away, unless you're Black Ops 7. So.
I mean, we sound doom and gloom on physical media or Variety, or we kind of bang this drum. PS5 is super, super successful. They've sold a shit ton of those things, and the PS4 was wildly successful, coming off a kind of a downturn with the PS3. It wasn't gangbusters up against a better platform at the time, a better product.
You mentioned this before, Richard. I mean, the PS4 had the liberty of having PS3 games that people missed out on, and goodwill, and so it was like they had new games on PS4, but they also had all these PS3 re-releases that majority of people haven't played before. So
right,
kind of like what Nintendo did with the Switch and with the Wii U. So it's like you always had an influx of games that people have missed and sold well on new hardware. It's like. Then you go right into the PS5 stuff where game development's getting longer and more costly, and it's like we have less and less first party. So they've made more third party deals now. We've seen from Sony. I mean, what came out today? Was it Lost Soul? Lost Soul Aside came out today, and that game's been in development for over 10 years. That was
really. I keep seeing that everywhere, but I have no clue what that game is. I'm sure if I watched a clip, I would recognize it.
It's from the China Hero, I believe, projects, and it's like I don't know, it's like an homage to like Devil May Cry, that type of gameplay. So,
okay.
And it was a game originally done by one person, and then they got funded by Sony to get a team together, and then you just had the developers of Metal Gear Solid Delta just came out there and said, hey, now that Lost Soul Aside is out, we helped develop this game with them. We were support studio, so like
really?
now I could talk about it. So it's like, man, and they were doing what, Oblivion remake, and you know they have their hands everywhere. They're like the new Blue Point.
Is it
Blue Point?
Virtuos?
Yeah, like the Virtuous Mission.
Virtuous Mission. Exactly. Exactly like the Virtuous Mission.
On that, with all the Metal Gear Solid Delta, have y'all seen like the little Easter egg in there? That's like a, I don't know if it's like a dream sequence or something, but basically you do something in a mission, save, quit, go back out to the main menu, and go back in, and it's like a completely different game.
Oh,
and
I
think that was the part. I think that was the part that was like developed by Platinum, and it's like a hack and slash, almost like a Devil May Cry, or it looks cool. It looks good. I want to. I've seen clips of it, and I want a full game of it.
You're just gonna stay in the dream sequence.
Stay in the dream sequence.
Still in a dream, Snake Eater.
I mean, it's super important, right? Because they did Metal Gear Rising.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a cool callback to them.
That is great.
It's kind of like a continuation there. Yeah. It's like I think they came out, as Brand had alluded, and said they developed that part when people were finding it. So,
man, what is this new Konami? It's like everything we've been wanting.
Good, man.
What are they?
It's good.
They're fucking around, and like they're exactly what we've been clamoring for so long. They just get it. Like there's a whole nother. Somebody's guiding them. There's like, I feel like there's a Chris Kohler or a Frank Cifaldi, or there's somebody behind driving these decisions, and like this is what people are going to want. This is a mix of unexpected and absolutely what people are going to freak out and be excited for. And they're doing it consistently.
I think they just took bits and pieces of work from other companies. I mean, look at Capcom. This is the Capcom formula, right?
Yep.
Capcom struggled. They had new IPs. Dark Void failed. Their Bionic Commando relaunched, meandered. I mean, they went back. They remade their back catalog, made money off that. Then they started making new entries in Resident Evil, and did the same thing for Devil May Cry. And they're following that formula, and you just make it multi-platform. You don't just lock it down to a platform, which I think that's where Square Enix is trying to get out. I was about to say, also.
You mentioned Square Enix following the same track too.
So, because I mean, Capcom came out and said like their main platform is what, PC, and then from PC they port to everything else. I mean, that is what they do. So, like I said, it's on everything, and it's worked for them. And I think I would not be surprised if this Metal Gear Solid Delta, if it sells well. I mean, we'll probably get a new entry at some point, but then they'll go back and, all right, well, let's remake Peace Walker. Let's remake 5, and then now let's finally remake the OG Metal Gear 1 and 2, and then go down to Solid. Yeah, make these modern, because as you make more money, you can take more chances.
Yep. So
like because I know Peace Walker's it's kind of newish, and then 5 is kind of a pointless remake because we got it on 4, but I mean, you just go down the
highly
timeline.
Revered. Yeah, you just go down that,
and then you get people build up on there and build up a universe. So
Resident Evil's doing that successfully, right? They're that template, the Capcom template like you were mentioning.
So I mean, at this point, I mean, they're getting ready to reboot Resident Evil. This Requiem is the last. So for these current characters, so at this point, they're gonna wipe the timeline after this. So that's the plan.
Where does it go from there? Do you keep the same elements of like Umbrella Corporation and a mansion and zombies? Like,
what do
you do with
somebody
that?
Somebody had did a interview and said this is why they were rebooting it, because they're tired of going back to their gaming Bible, and it's like, all right, we have to tie it to Umbrella. Yeah. Oh, we have to tie it to this. They're tired of doing that, and then keeping track of it, and because the problem is as you do that, your scope shrinks and you get tunnel vision. It's like you can't branch out and do different things, because it's like, oh, villain has to be Umbrella or Umbrella adjacent, because I mean they try to go Umbrella adjacent when you go to 8, because 8 was an Umbrella, but it wasn't, and it's like, oh, it's a branch of Umbrella that broke off, and it gets convoluted, and you're looking at it, it's like, man, this is crazy. So it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, at this point, they want freedom, so to like kind of take that series in a new direction. So lore wise, probably, versus gameplay wise, because they were able to keep the gameplay fresh going to first person mode and reintroduce third person mode in 8, and you saw that 9 is going to have both. So,
and the Bible, like you mentioned, it's laid the groundwork for that series and the environment and what to expect. But at a certain point, you have to cut those ties to. We can't always have that nod, wink, wink. Oh, you remember this? Like, hey, this is Palpatine. He's back. Or, this is kind of like the Flood again. Like, I think Halo's stuck in this.
yeah.
You told this window of like Master Chief's adventures impeccably over the course of 3, and then filled in a solid prequel and filled in an ODST side. And then everything since then has just been that nod, wink, wink. You remember this, right? This is what you know and love. Oh, look who's back. Look at this thing. And you have to break free of that at some point and still explore what made those great. I mean, this is the hard part, right? Like, we're not game designers and we're not novel writers, and we're not in charge of franchises and steering these ships, but you have to find a way to honor the legacy of whatever that is and still make it fresh. And some of these franchises are swinging and missing on that. And then some can recognize, hey, we got to be done with this. We have to reboot this and make it a thing that's still successful.
I mean, yeah. The problem is you gotta make money, right?
Right.
People go to Halo for Master Chief, so it's like you're shoehorning yourself in there. I mean, Bungie took the chance,
adventures. You could fill in so many parts of that timeline, though.
And then Bungie went in there and they did Reach, right, where they just did a nod to him towards there and there at some point where he just, the first time you encounter him. But it's like there's ways you can get around it, but it's just, I mean, it's so everybody's about making money, right? And I think at this point, we look at like Fantastic Four, Superman. Those didn't make $1 billion. Like the comic book movies used to be like easy billion, didn't matter. And that's like, and I think IGN did an article like, it's okay. You don't have to make $1 billion for every comic book movie you have on there. Tell unique stories, but make a realistic budget, because you look at the internals from Marvel, and that director, she said she had a hard time recovering from it because there was so much pressure. Like, this was the next big thing. I mean, they had signed everybody to 6 films, a amusement park ride, and some video games, and they only made 1 film because it did not hit like they thought it was going to be. It wasn't the hit they thought it was going to be. And it's like, and she basically, Zhao said, she's like, our budget was unlimited, and so they spent so much money on this movie.
Wow.
Making this movie that it made nothing back. And it's like, now it's cool. She says she wished she would have been like, all right, make this movie, but you can't make it in more than 200 million. So it's like and what I'm alluding to here is like, where you're getting these big blockbusters of games, that's probably what needs to happen at this point. Is like, what, let's make this game, but for X amount of dollars. So let's do a scope, and then we're starting to see that with the new Mafia game. They did a smaller scope, and it doesn't have to be these, because that's the first question somebody asks. Like, I'm spending $80. I hope this game's 250 hours long. It's crazy. So
not every game has to be that.
Yeah,
I miss the days where we had licensed franchises too, because I mean they were hit and miss. For every Spider-Man 2, you had like a
episode 2 Attack of the Clones. I bought that one.
Episode 2 for you had great like Lord of the Rings tie-ins, but then you had like some crappy Disney tie-in.
Or Catwoman for Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, which I think was supposed to be a lot more. Maybe that's a bad example, but I mean, there's all sorts of pressures and factors tying into that.
But I mean, hey, they were hit or miss, but there were some gems in there too. There were some like amazing licensed games.
Oh yeah.
Isn't there like I want to say it's like one of the M&M's games for like the PS1 that's basically like a Crash Bandicoot clone.
Really? I didn't know this.
Or no. There's I know that the Lilo and Stitch game's the Crash Bandicoot clone. I can't remember what the M&M's game is. M&M's, there might be like M&M's Racing or something else that I'm trying to think of, but
I
Like-
bought. Go ahead, Brent.
I was just gonna say, like, those games obviously had the license tied to them, but I mean, with some of those, they couldn't have spent like a huge amount. But some of them were really good.
I bought this game from Media Play on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
There was a movie called Ballistic X vs. Sever, starring Antonio Banderas and is that Lucy Liu? Yes.
Yeah. Which one did you do? The one before the movie or the one that came out after the movie?
I don't know. I bought a licensed
There's 2 versions of it.
GBA game that was like it's like a Doom, Wolfenstein, Medal of Honor. It was a great first-person shooter on the GBA. I couldn't believe how good it was, and I've never seen the movie. They made 2 games out of that.
Yeah, there's one that they made. So this is when they were making licensed games. So they were both for
Yeah.
GBA. So there was one where they made the game as they were filming the movie, and they saw what the direction the movie went, and then they ended up releasing that game, and then they made another one when the movie came out like a month or 2 afterwards, and they're both almost completely different games. I think one of them is I think maybe a upgrade compared to the other one.
I had the one by BAM. I had this one here. I know the
X
colored.
versus Sever.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon-looking cover. Here's the other one. It looks like a movie tie-in. It's got the actual art in the background.
I think the movie tie-in is supposed to be the better one.
Oh, interesting. Brant, have you ever heard of this? Look this game up. I fucking love this game. I played the shit out of this on GBA.
It pushed the GBA. I mean, it was very revolutionary at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of the stuff where you couldn't do like I think the one that has the movie art gave you crosshairs. It was easier to control, to aim first part. I mean, it was just a better version of it. So they took the ideas from there and just went up on it. But the story followed more of the movie versus the X versus Sever, the first one with the little anime characters, which was kind of like before they actually saw the movie and saw the storyline, where it just kind of just did its own thing based off the idea of what was happening. So
like design docs, they just had like design docs to go off of. That can be hit and miss. You never know what you're gonna get with that stuff.
But yeah, there's two different versions of this game, and they play completely different. And
interesting.
So it's one of those unique situations, but they both have that first person view on there. So
yeah, this is definitely the one I had is that animated cover because this whole opening and everything I'm familiar with. Yeah, I had seen screenshots of this in magazines and stuff, and I was like, I gotta have this. It plays so well.
Shell Shocked is the title, and it is a Crash Bandicoot clone.
What is that on? That's on PS1?
PS1.
How much is it?
I just looked up some video. I just typed in Eminem's PS1, and it's one of the first things that comes up. And I'm looking at the video. It's 100% Crash Bandicoot. You're just the yellow Eminem crushing, jumping on enemies, doing a spin attack, and hitting crates of M&Ms.
What's it called?
Eminem's Shell Shocked.
Shell Shocked?
Yep.
Like Shell Shock Nom 67 or whatever that title was. Brant's not expensive. This first one I looked at is $19. It's not bad. Official licensed product, it says across the bottom. Smashing cranes. Simon and Schuster Interactive. God. The Eminem Minis. Okay, this is an Eminem Mini licensing thing. All right, that was a hell of a sidebar there.
This is all crazy. Yeah, we'll go. The next story is Xbox bringing cloud gaming to lower
PlayStation
Game
Portal
Pass tiers, including in addition also PC games and Eminem Shell Shocked. So this is
Shell Shocked. It lives on.
VGC, Andy Robinson. The article was released the 27th of August, and it says, as of today, users enrolled in the Xbox Insider program will be able to test Xbox Cloud Gaming Beta, which obviously allows you to stream your Xbox certain Xbox titles,
Certain.
but for core and standard tiers. Obviously, right now, unless you're in subscribed to the $20 Ultimate tier, that's about the only way you can stream the games there. But they're adding it for the insiders, also allowing subscribers of the Game Pass Core and Standard will be able to stream PC versions for the first time. This kind of plays into the fact that they were talking about making a more affordable Xbox cloud gaming service, or adding that in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Oof, it's coming. An ad-supported version of this is coming.
I was about to say they referred to the ad supported tier, which, gosh, I already hate getting ads on like Hulu or YouTube or anything, and just imagine playing a game and then all of a sudden it gets immediately paused. Or
it's coming.
I think back to like how we have the licensing agreements and you see the billboards in the games, and you'll have like Coca-Cola or McDonald's or whatever else. And
Alan Wake had the batteries, right? Alan Wake had the
batteries.
Was it Duracell or Energizer?
Yeah. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it uses AI as your character goes by. I'm like, yes, Duracell, the only battery I trust from,
Brent, don't you want to repeat your DoorDash order? And it's got your whole like DoorDash order on the billboard. Nightmare fuel.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Yeah,
let's hope it doesn't come to that. It's coming.
Although, what was that? That was earlier this year when was it the NBA game? People were getting like pop-up ads in one of the NBA games, titles? The 2K.
Maybe.
Sounds right.
Yeah. They end up having to phase those out. That's a preservation nightmare because they're not going to keep those brands in there.
They were like, "Oh, it's a fluke. It's just a fluke." But that's probably like, we're going to see if this works. Let's test it out.
See if anybody calls us out on this bullshit.
The rest of this is some quotes here from Jason Randall from Microsoft saying, one of the things we see, if there's a lot of players who use Game Pass Ultimate to access cloud, whether it's the primary way that they play the games or an additional way to play on the go, I think for us, it really opens up the opportunities to make it much more affordable and make it more accessible to players, whether that's going into new regions or new ways to actually access the Xbox cloud.
This is another one of our weekly topics, but our barometer is still like Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, right? Where can we play Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon? But this essentially is bringing those benefits to the non-ultimate tier. I think we've all been on ultimate since it came about. So it's not doing. This doesn't do anything for. I imagine the majority of Game Pass players has there ever been a breakdown of like 90% of people are on Ultimate, 5% are on PC? Is there? I would love to see that.
They really share those numbers.
When Microsoft started getting their teeth kicked in on the Xbox One, they stopped sharing that sort of those sort of metrics, which sucks. Like I understand it was
monthly access, right? MAU is all they report now. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No specifics. It could be somebody who just signed up for an Xbox account for 2 seconds for something and never ever use it again. So
it could be my kids on their iPad with Minecraft also, right? It's an Xbox.
They're getting way more away from, we want to sell you an Xbox, to, hey, everything you have is already an Xbox. Let's sell you a subscription and maybe a controller.
Yeah.
So, and I mean,
that's a good way to go for a lot of people.
You can't argue that it's really convenient, because I think about all of us have talked about the way we've, kind of dropped their physical media, because Xbox doesn't really release physical media as much. But I mean, when you boot up something on your Steam Deck, my Steam Deck, or when y'all talk about, booting it up on the ROG, and that being able to download it or play from the cloud and just play the Xbox Play Anywhere, and how it automatically gets your save file, pulls it down, it just works, and it's so damn convenient.
Buisha's demoed a game that way. Like, do I want to spend, 2.5, 3 hours downloading this full version? He'll pop in there and stream some of it and just play that intro and see if it grabs him. I saw a bunch of stuff on Threads. I'm sure you guys did, but they were playing Gears of War on the Portal, and they said, "Is this an Xbox now?" I kept seeing that one. I was like, "That's pretty good."
Hey man, I'm proud of Microsoft, man. That game is pretty much complete on disc. So
right.
I told Cesar, I was like, I think this may equal my physical copies of Xbox Game Studio games evenly across series consoles and PS5. I may have an equal amount of first-party published Microsoft games on each console.
Right.
Because I don't know that I have a specific, unless I bought like a Borderlands copy or something. That I do have Halo Infinite. I got that Halo Infinite Walmart collector's edition or whatever it was that came with a physical copy of Halo Infinite. Brant, I have a coaster with you.
It's only $40.
Coasters Unite. What's that? Which one?
I said Gears of War Reloaded is only $40.
You didn't get it yet?
Yes,
$39.99. I have a physical copy of Gears of War for the PS5.
Wow, that's amazingly low.
Super low.
I wish we had an actual advert to read.
I mean, the way we hype certain things, we definitely could have. Or the benefits of certain programs that we've explained better than the manufacturer or the subscriber themselves have pitched.
Yeah. But then that would just be us right now doing like the whole have you seen the horrible the absolute trash that is the remake of War of the Worlds?
I've seen
the latest
from it.
War of the Worlds, and it's just it's just an Amazon advertisement, the whole movie.
Yeah,
because literally
he watches it through his computer or something, right? Like it's all
it's all done on like a Zoom call, and at one point the dude's like, you don't have a thumb drive over there? Here, I can send it to you via this drone. Here, and he's wearing his Amazon vest and stuff. He's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to make an official Amazon order, and it like goes through a step-by-step thing of Ice Cube clicking through and ordering. I was about to say it's Ice Cube in this, right? Yeah,
it's like the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes film of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Gears over there. I installed it. Friend of the show, Buish, went and found us copies of Star Wars Outlaws. Local store had it for $10.
Okay.
If you're a warehouse club member of the J's of the B's, they have it for each console for $10. I was like, that's about the right buy-in price. Yeah. Next up in news from VGC, VideoGamesChronicle.com. Quote, they can't get the hardware. This comes from Chris Scullion referencing Nintendo's reportedly telling would-be Switch 2 devs to release on Switch instead. In the latest edition of Digital Foundry's DF Direct weekly podcast, hosts John Linneman and Oliver McKenzie. I'm not a big Oliver McKenzie fan. I do not enjoy his content. I love me some John Linneman. These are my personal opinions. Richard Bergman. I'm throwing that out there. Digital Foundry makes good stuff. I don't enjoy Oliver's content. Reported that they had been told by numerous developers that they were still unable to get hold of a development kit to make Switch 2 games. So I heard this on Jeff Gerstmann's show. So that's, all right, is he mentioned in here? I guess that's just a corroboration.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about this lately that Nintendo seems to be almost discouraging Switch 2 development to some degree, he said. That's John Linneman. I've spoken with plenty of developers where they were told that their game, they should just ship it on Switch 1 and rely on backwards compatibility. Quote continues, there's a lot of developers that are unable to get Switch 2 dev units. We talked to a lot of devs at Gamescom this year, and so many of them said the same things. They want to ship on Switch 2. They would love to do Switch 2 versions. They can't get the hardware. It's really difficult right now. McKinsey noted that Nintendo's decision to send development kits to some studios but not others didn't appear to always make sense in his opinion, citing indie title Chillin' by the Fire, which was published by Oink Games and makes use of the Switch 2 camera. Is that the one we talked about from the Nintendo Direct?
Yeah.
Sitting around the campfire. As one of the most unusual examples of a smaller studio being able to get a kit ahead of a more established developers. I'm sorry. Maybe they agreed to do something with a camera as like a camera support thing. We know these deals get cut all the time. Like, hey, we'll help you publish your iToy game if you use this iToy thing.
Yeah, it really seems like the developers that are saying, oh, we want to use the camera or we want to use the mouse controls. It's seeming like Nintendo's more
apt or savvy.
Agreeable, to give them or supply them with some hardware than just somebody that's like, hey, we want to release our game on Switch 2 because the Switch 2 runs games better. They're like, nah, release on Switch 1 and just, backwards compatibility. There, it's good.
And they also have, we make this argument a lot, Cesar pointed out with the PS4, they have a huge install base of that first Switch. So maybe they have retailers telling them they don't want to put aside the retail space. I don't know how good that argument is. I walked by the Switch 2 case in Walmart today, and it's like 2 rows of games up top, maybe 10 titles, and then it's all empty space underneath there. There's nothing in that whole case. I'm sure Walmart doesn't want to have that on their storefront. Yeah, again, there's nothing from... It's just more quotes from Digital Foundry. We don't need to read all of their stuff. That's their takes and their content.
All like you guys pointed out here. The big point is that there's developers who want to develop for the console, but Nintendo's being very selective, and we don't know why. Our guess is because there's maybe not that many development kits available, or it could be anything. We saw that Moore's Law is dead. I think that Sony had licensed out just having a PC expansion card that you put into PC to do game development for the PS6. Like they're trying to make it easier to get that out there because there's a lot of indie developers who can, make magic happen. Make it a lot more user friendly. So we're probably never going to know, right? So it's only Nintendo knows. At some point these developers will get their versions. It just it sucks because we're probably going to see some really shoddy Switch 1 ports of games, and then you just got to wait till later to like we just got the announcement yesterday. High on Life got a Switch 2 port. Now it runs at a steady 1080p, 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of that, and I think Nintendo's okay with that, right? Because it generates excitement. People are like, oh, it's kind of like that backwards compatibility for Xbox. People were out there looking at it and like, oh, let me go get a copy of High on Life so I can get this $3 upgrade or the free upgrade for it,
How different are these? So development kits are not what they used to be back in the day, where you saw these really cool like Dreamcast and GameCube. Even Digital Foundry themselves, they had this whole segment about the PS3 being the last original console. Like this was a thing that was not off the shelf parts. This was like a custom cell CPU. You needed a PS3 debug or development kit to do anything with the PS3. You didn't need to do that with the Xbox 360. That was an iMac G3 that they developed games for on the 360. It was that PowerPC architecture. How different are these SDKs for the Switch 2? Like, do you have to have? Is it for QC? I'm not a game developer. We're not game developers. Like, what?
I don't think it's any different now because I think literally when you go on Unreal, there's an option. You just click on which console you want to push for, and
you run it like that, right?
It compiles it. Yeah. So
I don't know how valid
it's an NVIDIA
chipset.
It's an NVIDIA chipset that is pretty common and readily available.
Yeah.
It's an AMD chipset, which is pretty common. I mean, that's why you have these games so easy to port over to PC because they're basically just PCs at this point. There's no. Fortunately, the PS3 burned that bridge where they made game development very difficult, and it cost them a lot of games in the beginning of the generation. Until they learned like, all right, if we develop for PS3, it was easier to port to 360, and you had better 360 games. And then they were doing that. Making PS3 more the lead development platform. But for 4, as like you mentioned, 360 was the lead development platform, and that's why we had like Superman Returns license game, and we had Jumper license game, and that wasn't on the PlayStation because it's like they didn't want to sit there and try to make that work. Yeah.
Yep.
Brash Games, remember Brash Games? So
Superman Returns, is that worth having for 360 or Jumper? Either one of those very good.
Jumper's an underrated movie. I like that movie.
Jumper's good.
It's a better book, but yeah, the movie's not that bad.
Is that the Hayden Christensen one? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Yeah.
Rachel, was it Rachel Bilson? From the one from the OC, I think he dated her for a while before and they ended up breaking up. So
okay, we got some OC lore there. I didn't see the OC coming up on this episode. That's why you join the show. You never know where this thing is going to go. We had some OC lore.
But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. People are vocal. That when people are vocal, it might make Nintendo be a little bit more loose. So it's a chance you take. I think you guys are right. I think you guys are 100% right. You're going to see more of the people who are using different features to help sell the console because the consoles are very similar. Outside of some, it's a Switch Pro, right? So
yeah, it is very much a Switch Pro.
But I mean, look at High on Life. Look at that upgrade we got. You can use mouse controls on there to play that game. So I mean, they did something different too. So
and they want to put that in the forefront. Like, here's a new way to play this.
Yeah, I mean, that it's going to inspire other people to like, all right, maybe I should put mouse controls in my game, and that I just was going to do a simple port. So you kind of steer the ship. So I mean, it's like what me and Richard always want. We always want dual sensibilities. Because I can tell you DualSense is awesome on Gears from what I heard. I haven't played Gears yet, but I heard his DualSense is good. DualSense is great on Metal Gear Solid Delta. I was playing that, and it's like, man, the DualSense on that is amazing. I feel the rumbles of the plane when it opens up. Put out the cigar, put on the mask. And, you flick at the cigar, you feel all the rumbles on there. It's
the virtuous mission.
Like,
virtuous mission.
Virtual mission? No, virtuous mission.
Virtuous mission. What's the next one? I think that one's just called Snake Eater, right? Operation Snake Eater. Did you beat that whole opening level? Did you beat the virtuous mission? It's not very long.
No. I mean, some stuff happens in there, so that kind of sets the stage for the game. Then it's when you all right, this is where the game starts. So
make sure you shoot Ocelot and kill the time continuum.
Yeah, I remember doing that on the PS2 one. It's like, you created a time paradox.
Can I actually kill him? What happens here?
I think what I ended up doing was what I ended up doing was I made him into another Hellraiser and just kept putting him with tranquilizers, and it's like
he's just stumbling around.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on his face, like it's.
I did see one of the Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta things I've seen is they use the same mocap. So you see the guy doing the mocap stuff from back in the day for Revolver Ocelot. I was like, man, that's cool.
Mocap for the body's the same. Voice acting is the same from the original. They use a new facial for the new Unreal Engine. So they have actually they didn't bring back David Hayter. They got somebody else to do the facial on there because I think.
Yeah, because he never looked like Snake. That was never an advancement he was part of.
So it's like
is it Kiefer Sutherland's facial capture? Too soon?
Hey, you
heard
what
he said. That's a joke for the
said
Metal Gear fans.
He finally played it.
Played a game. He enjoyed it. He said he was okay with it.
What did he play?
He played Dave Hayter.
Oh, David Hayter played 5. I got you. On Ground Zero.
He finally played it. Yeah, he was like, you know what?
Gotta feel
weird. It was pretty good. He did a good job.
That's gotta feel weird though.
He let it go. He basically just said he let it go and he played it and he thought it was a great game. He said he just before he didn't touch it because he felt betrayed. So.
I would feel sore about that. But you can kind of see the writing on the wall with the way Kojima is so ingrained into cinema. Like he replaced from Metal Gear Solid 1 to 2, he replaced the composer. Like Harry Gregson Williams came in because he was more bombastic in cinema and film, and like he's made those changes throughout the course of the series.
To your caveat, he never changed the Snake voice actor in any of the games in Japan. So
interesting.
Food for thought.
Was that a noted voice actor for Snake, or was that
It was the OG one. Yeah, I think he used him every time. Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what happened there. There's a story there.
I remember they talked about this before. I don't think he was ever a big fan of David Hayter. I think somebody had.
And then over here, he's like personify Solid Snake.
Yeah, Chris Zimmerman Salter was the one that did that voice acting for the English dub, and she chose that cast. And I don't think he was a big David Hayter fan. So
wow,
from my understanding,
he's iconic. Well, he's back either way, so he's back in the fold.
Yeah, I mean, there's a new game. It sounds like they're going with him, so.
When he's not pinning X-Men scripts. Let's wrap up the news with your PlayStation Plus monthly games for September. We have Psychonauts 2 for PS4 and PS5. Stardew Valley for PS4 and PS5. And Viewfinder also for PS5 and PS4. These are all playable from September 2nd. These are pretty big games, except I haven't heard of Viewfinder. Is Viewfinder a big deal?
I think that is eventually now getting ported over to series consoles and Switch. I think they just made that announcement because it was like one of those
cool
weird exclusive ones on the Sony consoles for a while.
World
maybe about a year. So I think if I'm not mistaken, it's coming to new consoles now. So
did y'all have a Viewfinder growing up? I did. Maybe it's just me. I did, and I had like 50 of those fucking reels.
So yeah, this is they just announced that it's coming to the series consoles in August 2025, which is this month, and then Nintendo Switch in Q4 2025. But it has been out on PlayStation 5 and 4 as of PlayStation 5 is July of 2023, PS4 is December 2023. So supposedly supposed to be a very good game, so I think that's why it's finally getting off that island of just one console was a big deal when they made the announcement earlier this year. So
I liked my Viewfinder. Was I the only one? Neither one of you guys had one?
I'm sure I had one in the 80s, man. It was the 80s. Yeah. I mean, as soon as you're born in the 80s, you were given a Viewfinder as soon as you came out the womb. So it's like
I had so many reels, but I had like, Disneyland, and I could flip. You had to look at the light, and then you flip through, and you're basically just looking at film negatives.
Mm-hmm. I have some somewhere, and some of it was like E.T., Land Before Time. It's like whatever 80s ones. Properties you had.
Yeah,
there were versions of it. So it was like
I had national parks and Ninja
I
Turtles.
think I remember having just like a Disney one. Yeah.
Rescuers. I kind of want a Viewfinder now. My kids would think that's boring. It was like a cool fucking thing to me. They'll be like, this is dumb. They'll flip through it and be done with it. Like, all right, we made it through the wheel.
Flip through.
We did the thing.
They don't move? The pictures don't move?
Yeah. The internet's out. How's this thing working? You think the internet controls everything? Yeah, the internet's out. How do we still have lights? Do what?
I said they're almost not wrong.
Pretty much. It's getting that way.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the water's still going to work. Dad, I don't have to shower. The internet's out. Like, no, you still got to go shower. It's not how that
works. Take this flashlight with you.
Yeah. Kids are crazy. Take this flashlight with you.
Can't flush the toilet. Internet's out.
Yeah. They don't know. They think it runs everything. They're never not connected.
Make a sandwich. Internet's out, man.
Yeah. How are we supposed to go to school tomorrow? Hopefully they have internet. I don't know
Like
what
that
you're
was
gonna
that.
do.
It was like that comedian. Remember, he's like, where he said he just go in there and teach kids random stuff as being a substitute teacher. He's like, 1+1 equals chair. They don't know. He's like, they
don't
don't know.
know.
Yeah. They're all writing it down, taking it in. 1+1 equals chair.
They just recite it back.
Yeah.
Then the real teacher comes back. It's like, what the hell
Yeah.
happened when I left this classroom? Oh boy, those are your PlayStation Plus games. PlayStation Plus Essential, that's the tier. That's mine. September monthly games. You get that with Essential, Extra, and Classic, Premium.
Yeah. We should hopefully get some new premium games this month because I think they had, when they did the State of Play, they announced like that whole summer of premium games, which was Twisted Metal and Resident Evil. So hopefully we'll get something good for premium this month. It's probably just going to be Miss 74 or something like that. But
is there anything on the wish list that you want from your last months of premium that you currently have?
I mean, I got until December. I mean, I would love them to do Misadventures of Trombone and Mega Man Legends 1 and 2, but I got a feeling that at some point Capcom's going to come out with a collection.
With those? Yeah.
I mean, that's the only Mega Man games they haven't done collection-wise, so...
And they're doing a great job with their back catalog.
Seems like they're waiting on it for a reason.
On the collection. They have let up on doing collections. The last one we got was the Battle Network games, and those were... last year,
and we got the Marvel versus Capcom collection,
and also the Ace Attorney investigations. I mean, Ace Attorney's done. All the Ace Attorney's been ported over outside of Professor Layton. So
I was just meaning for like the Mega Man stuff because like
Mega Man,
they churned out all the Mega Man stuff.
Are those the ones missing? And then we also get Mega Man 64 in there possibly.
That would have to be part. I mean, that's the support of the Legends one. So I beat both those. And 64 was a pretty good port.
Somebody jump in there and finish Mega Man Legends 3, the previously announced canned 3DS title. Get that on that collection.
Not Inafune, not him.
Too busy with Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9, number 2. Do they add Mighty Number 9 on there as a joke?
People are still mad about that because that Vita and DS versions still never came out. So
was it that bad? Has anyone tried it? Has anyone played it before?
I had it. I backed it. It was all right. It just wasn't, it just, that was like in the early development of like, the people branching off like, this game company won't let me make this game or sequel like a la Bloodstained or a la this. So I'm just going to do it myself. But I mean, me and Brand are excited about the next Bloodstained because that looks way more Castlevania than anything I've seen in a long time. So I thought it was Castlevania until they came out with Bloodstained 2. I was like, oh, now we're finally... We're getting to the the meat of it. It took us 7 years, but here we are.
Did y'all see that Star Fox game I sent you? It's Star Fox and everything but name. Like somebody was like, "Hey, we're not getting a new Star Fox game. I'm gonna make my own with different characters like a deer and."
There's a couple of Humble Bundle games that randomly got dropped. That was one of them that's being published by them, and there's another one that is that looked really good too. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head that they announced is coming out soon. So.
Oh, God,
but I'm aware of both of those before you sent that. They did like a little show with that. So
yeah, we saw one. I feel like one of them was on a Nintendo Direct or something, like a Indies show that we watched. Because I feel like we all freaked out about that Star Fox thing, and then I totally forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that because I saw the deer character. I was trying to find the name of that for listeners, but it looks really good. Do not see it.
Yeah, I'm looking for you right now.
A lot of my stuff's on sale right now.
So if you look at coming soon,
Wild Blue.
That's it. Wild Blue. We didn't talk about this in news, but 2 weeks ago, Forgotten Realms Demon Stone got a sudden update for PC. So that's a brand new port on Steam. That's an Xbox and PS2 hack and slash from the Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms universe. And I think it was pretty good, like well received. And this just updates it for modern platforms, and they just brought it forward. And it's only $10. I think it's usually on sale for $8.99. But if that's your cup of tea,
they did 2 games. There's 2 of them. They were both PS2 and then maybe GameCube and Xbox on one of them. So
The Forgotten Realms, Demon Stone.
I mean, they did 2 Dungeons and Dragons one. So Forgotten Realms was one of them.
Yep.
And then there was another one that we like Demon Stone or something like that.
This
Can't
one
remember
is
what it was
from this one's from Stormfront Studios, your Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance studio.
Yeah,
And
Forgotten Realms, Demon Stone, and what was the other one?
that's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one I'm talking about. They just brought that one forward. There was another
And
one?
there's 2 of them.
Oh. I missed that part of it.
I'm trying to do off the top of my head.
Was it another Stormfront games? I don't see anything in there from them.
No.
I'm thinking of Snowblind. It's not even the same studio. I'm not sure about that one. But it came out in 2004. But they're updating it with full X input controller support, with rumble and hot plugging. Ooh, you come here for your favorite hot plugging updates. Adjustable audio
Is
and
that
new
like hot
in-game
swiping?
settings.
Hot swapping?
Yeah. Hot plugging, hot swiping, and hot swapping.
There was 2 games, and they
The
both
3
came out
hots.
on PS2, and they announced that they were both getting the update, and I put them both in my cart because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy both of them." I just don't remember what the other one was. A Demon
You don't
Stone.
see it in there now.
Because I think it was also on PS2, and I think I had the PS2 copy of it as well.
Bard's Tale? Bard's Tale is kind of similar to that, but that's been out for a while.
No.
No, not that one. Yeah, I had it in my cart at $8.99 and went back up $1. Why is that my like, nope, I'm not getting this anymore. It went up $1. I can't have that.
Oh, it is Dragon Shard, Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard. Yeah.
Dragon Shard. I've never heard of that one. That's interesting. $9.99. They're both $10. This one's from Liquid Entertainment.
This one skipped console. I had this on PC. I forgot about this because
Okay.
Atari published it. Yeah. This skipped console, but Dragon Shard is the other one. Yep.
So they brought 2 forward and added modern controls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Who's picking up that work? Just the Dungeons and Dragons license? SNEG?
Yeah.
Both of them published it. Yep, 2 Dungeons and Dragon classics are back. SNEG. Oh, they're specializing in D&D stuff. Here's a Dungeons and Dragons Archives Collection 1 for $5. All right, so they found their niche. They're just doing D&D ports. That's pretty cool. Bring it forward. Games played. We ready to rock? We all played some Delta Force. That's actually all I've played with you guys. We played some Delta Force Saturday. So Cesar brought this up on last week's show, or maybe 2 weeks ago. The campaign is a port of an original Xbox and PS2. Did that come out on PS2?
I think so. I think when I looked it up, there is a PS2 copy.
Black Hawk Down, Delta Force.
I think we're just remembering Xbox because I think if we read the reviews correctly, Xbox was the version to play. I think that was the best one to play.
It had System Link and Xbox Live and all the features that kind of set Xbox ahead during that generation. But the aim was to play a campaign, right? Like, let's play a 4-player campaign of this 2004 port, and you guys got in a game pretty quick. Like, you figured out how to squad up and stuff. I was struggling. I have no clue what was happening over here. It's usually not me lagging behind. Man, I could not figure it out. And then, even though Cesar warned us last week, download the campaign, I had forgotten to go in there and actually click it, and it took a minute to go through that. So we ended up having to drop back and do the main menu has like campaign, operations. I can't remember what the other option was. Was it like Warzone or something, or Warfare or something like that?
It's kind of like a extraction shooter thing where you go in and you collect loot and whatnot, and then you have to get out of there. And if you die, you drop your stuff and have to start over. So,
do we want to try that mode? Maybe.
Hey, it's on the table, right?
It's on the table. It's free to play, baby. All this
Free to
was
play.
free to play, even the campaign.
I mean, it wasn't what we played wasn't that bad. I mean,
Oh yeah, it was
I
pretty
really
good.
enjoyed it. At first, I was like, I don't know about this. It's got a very Battlefield flair to it, where you're trying to take objectives and you've got different rally points on the map. The part that got me, where it got its hooks in me, it was another objective based one, but it was like defend and attack, I think was the name of that one. And we ended up on the defensive side. And the way I was telling my coworker about this today, and I think he's on board to try it out at some point. You start off on like a beachhead, and you have these spawn points, and all behind you defending are these different spawn points eventually, right? And you can still spawn from those, but you'll be running forward a long ways. I feel like the game is stacked for the attackers to push forward. They're going to win those first few. And they did. I mean, they were good gunfights and pressure points, and they were pushing like Battlefield, where we have that ebb and flow of trying to take these points. But they were pushing us back, first from like a beach to like the cliffs over the beach. And then there was like villages and some small buildings until finally we were in like a castle or a fort or something, right? And that was the last point. And they had pushed us back. And we eventually saw the timer, like you have to hold this last point for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, something like that. And we did it. Like we just had to rally and hold that one point as they're spilling in and coming after us in that fort and stuff. And it was great. That's when I thought, like, man, this is awesome. And when we finished that round, it had taken 30 minutes, and it didn't feel like 30 minutes of us trying to figure all this stuff out. I guess I should start at the beginning a little bit too. It's a first-person shooter. You pick your operator or whatever, and you pick your weapons, and you spawn. And it's not like a Resurgence or a Warzone or a Battle Royale. It's more like Battlefield or kind of an old school multiplayer game where you respawn constantly. So it's putting you right back into the game. And I kept like getting killed by the same people and killing the same people. Like I would see the same adversaries in those vicinities. But it seemed fair, and it seemed very polished, and it was fun. Like I had a good time with it the whole time. We didn't end up doing like our 1:00 streams or anything. I think everybody tapped out about 11. It was the three of us.
It was almost 12.
It was almost
like
12.
11:30, 11:40 something.
We didn't have friend of the show Buish with us. We'll try to peer pressure him into it. I kind of want to play it again this Saturday if you guys are down.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Very, very polished for a free-to-play game. Like when you go into the menus, I was kind of shocked looking at the character models walking around and stuff. Like this doesn't look bad. This is pretty good. We need somebody to break into this space. It can't be Call of Duty versus Battlefield versus. Is that it? Battlefront, Battlefield. Yeah. Remember EA had their Medal of Honor? They were going to put Medal of Honor in their 3 pillars of success. But I had fun with it. I didn't feel super aggravated with it. Weapons felt good. They shot well. And there was that rush at the very end, almost like a horde mode where you survive. You're trying to live out the clock at the end of that horde mode. And I think that piece was a lot of fun. It felt like a genuine battle win when that countdown timer went off.
Oh, yeah.
We still held the point, and you saw a victory pop up, and it was like, yeah, it felt like a Warzone win. It was like, yes, we did it. Oh, I really enjoyed it, and it came out of nowhere. Cesar found this game and recommended it, and we all downloaded it, and it's good. Delta Force.
It's kind of at its core Battlefield, but then it's got kind of I would say what are like hero shooter elements.
You mentioned that
each of the characters fit into a certain archetype. So like the character I was playing, she was technically a ranger or like a sniper type character. So she had a ranged rifle with a scope, but she also had a handgun. And then also she had this bow and arrow that specifically I could use in 2 different ways. I could either and both ways were on a cooldown. So the first one I could aim and fire it, and it would kind of shoot and bounce, and it would kind of do like a radar, and it would light up enemies, even behind a
Yeah.
wall or something,
Yeah.
for just a few seconds, to where you could see, okay, yeah, there's 2-3 enemies behind here. The other one was I could shoot an arrow that like sent out like an electrical shock, so it could shoot it into the wall or shoot it in the floor or even shoot an enemy with it, and it would sit there and shock them, and it would, one, inflict damage to them, but also they're like moving a lot slower, so it allows other teammates to get up on them. And
yeah. I can't remember what my perks were, but it did have those cooldown things on there. There's some neat elements to that game.
Mine was like I run really fast. I had like a bioskeleton that just let me zip across the battlefield. So,
there were a couple times where they would take a spawn point near you, and then they would all start spilling out of there. So you'd be looking down this hallway. There was nobody there before, and maybe like one person stuck in there and took it, and then there's like 12 people spilling out of there. You're like, oh, that's it. I'm trying to take down as many as I can, throw down a grenade or something. But some of those, like, I don't know what the name of that map was, but kind of the next to last step before we got to the fort, where there was a lot of underground stuff, and there's some like manned mounted guns that were real cool, and there was a lot of back and forth that kind of scratched that Battlefield itch. But it was good. It wasn't as like, there was crazy and random as a Call of Duty round.
Yeah, there's some kind of point system that I'm not exactly sure how I'm guessing it was by kills and keeping the position we're supposed to be protecting.
Objectives, yeah.
But
and it would swing,
that
right?
Unlocks.
You would see when we took a spawn point, it would like up it by 50 tickets or whatever they are.
But then you would hear like what was it? Smoke bombing run or whatever they called it, is now available, and you could like pull up this wheel, like almost like a weapon wheel kind of thing, but it would say like you can call in a vehicle or you can call in a smoke strike. And then there was like an air raid and all these other things that if you saved however many points, it would become available. So
like reward tiers for doing stuff, either capturing a point or getting a kill or getting an assist, helping an ally, that sort of thing. You're right. I forgot about the whole weapon wheel thing. That was cool. There's some great things about this game.
It like you said, it's very polished for this to be just like one of these things that's just like, yeah, let's try it. And I remember hearing about it, but it's been a really long time. I wasn't expecting it to be as like fully fleshed out and like a really, really damn good game.
I went in thinking there would be some jank and we would be laughing our asses off, and then we would bounce and do something else. Like that was 100% my expectation. And then we played like multiple rounds of these different varieties. It was like, this is a good time. They've got a good thing here.
Go back.
Yeah, Delta Force isn't bad.
It's Delta Force, baby.
My spouse asked me the next day, like, "Would you guys, did you do Warzone or Diablo or what?" I was like, "Play this game called Delta Force." Cesar found. I was like, it was random, but it was good as hell. Like we actually enjoyed it.
Very good.
It was a good find. So,
but it took us a minute, like you mentioned it. I mean, it is a little convoluted on navigating the menus, and there's no real tutorials outside of like it. So
doesn't tell you anything.
If you watch our stream, I think me and Cesar are the most vocal. Like, I don't know about this. Like, this isn't, I don't know. But then it was that like attackers and defenders mode that was just fun. There was a weight to your decisions, but also like it didn't take itself too seriously. Just spawn and find a new point to defend and rally with your teammates. And it had a good mix of like pushing and falling back. And it was fun. It was what you want in a video game. I didn't feel cheated. I didn't feel like things were cheap or that, somebody was running past me and then drop on the floor and then shoot me in the head, 2 headshots and I'm dead. Not that I'm calling out any particular franchise where your opponents may or may not do that to you every single round. Outside of that, I spent the week installing games. I now have Gears of War Reloaded installed on my PS5, and I have Star Wars Outlaws installed on my PS5. So those are my... We have games acquired. I have games installed. And I will not go through... Like, games coming to Game Pass and leaving Game Pass. I will not mention the titles that I had to clean out the fridge for on the PS5. Avatar Final Frontier. That's a Star Trek subtitle. Frontiers of Pandora, I think, is the subtitle of that one.
Yeah.
Yep. My youngest child did not have as much fun with that as they thought they would, so I cleaned out the fridge on that one. I'll try it when they do that third-person update. It's coming out in December. Kind of strange to get that huge update like a year after the game comes out, but Ubisoft, they be supporting. Massive's used to that. But that is it for me. Some Delta Force. Is it just called Delta Force? And the campaign's called Black Hawk Down. I'll try to do some research between now and then and see if we can figure out what that campaign issue was. And maybe we can get Buish in there for some campaign madness. I still like that Call of Duty World War II playthrough we did of that campaign is a highlight of my year. I had a blast doing that. I thought it was so much fun. We played through the whole story in one night. It was great.
Yep.
Flamethrowers and grenades and just chaos. I loved it.
Molotovs.
Yep. Molotovs. Oh, the freaking bayonet runs that they were coming after us with.
Bonsai.
It was good. That game was awesome. Is that the right title? Yep. World War II? Was that what it was called?
World at War.
World at War. That's right. I knew when I said it because there is a Call of Duty World War II, isn't there? Is that one 4 players?
Yes.
Do we pick another Call of Duty campaign to play through?
I don't know.
I mean, Black Ops 7 is the one I told y'all that's our next one.
Yes, we'll absolutely be streaming that. I'm down for that immediately. And we all have Game Pass. We'll get it on that, right?
Yep.
That is it for me. Some Delta Force and some games installed.
I mean, I really don't have much to add. I mean, as Richard has mentioned, I partaked in that BJ's Warehouse Star Wars $10 copy for Outlaws, and I went and installed that.
Games installed.
Ended up buying this game. I haven't played it yet. Just came in today. Called Pocket Bravery. It looks like it's a 2D fighting game that's involved like a Pocket Fighter from PS1.
Oh, okay.
And I think it had recently just dropped in price. So I was like, I like Pocket Fighter, and it's made by a Brazilian team, and they're new to gaming, and I like fighting games, so I took a chance and got it. I just installed my copy of Lost Soul Side, which came out today, and then I joined this podcast, so I have yet to play it. I did play some Metal Gear Solid Delta. I have been playing it on the PS5. I've noticed that, there's been some controversy on the game on that it does not run well on Pro, and then it looks fine to me on that when I boot it up, but I do see where the controversy is at, because I think we had seen that presentation from Mark Cerny where he's like, what he had hoped for this Pro was to give you a balance of not having to choose, a high frame rate or better graphics, that it just gives you the ability to unlock and do both.
Right.
So I noticed when I went in there's not an option to go to high fidelity or performance. It's it's whatever option it gives you. That's you have to play it.
Oh,
so
it's just the game,
which is interesting. So when you boot it up, you get a menu where you can do snake versus monkey. Hebe versus Sadu.
Sadu.
You can play this one with Japanese language audio, which this option I chose. There's 2 different ways of playing it. You can do a new over-the-shoulder way, a la like Gears of War, using the Unreal Engine. Or you could also do the classic one, which was like the over-the-head one. So I think I did the new style one just to try it out and see how it goes, because it is, I guess, more modernized. Outside of that, it's the exact same voice acting. It's the same Metal Gear Solid 3 Love and Play. I mean, they didn't really change much outside of it. It's just running in a new, prettier engine. So I'm not going to sit here and go into the story. I think all three of us have played the story before, so we know how it pans out. But just in case somebody hasn't played it for the first time, I'll leave it at that. So, but it does look really, really good. I mean, you can definitely tell that the Unreal Engine runs fine. I haven't had any issues with the frame rate yet, but then again, I think most of what people have said is like when you go swimming and stuff like that, you see that drop. But I think that was a common issue on the PS2 version as well. So we'll see as I get further, because there are some levels where you have to like swim around and avoid stuff. So I'll probably run into that. But I do note that the DualSense on there, that it was the biggest change. I'm a big fan of it. So outside of that, the only other thing that I put some time in here and there as I went through the week is, that's unfortunate. I had it loaded up on here, but here we go. Was it's going to sound stupid, but it's called Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. And this is on PS5, Switch, and PC. And this looks like a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time engine, like a Mode 7 over-the-top head, where you can essentially it basically just looks like that. So essentially you play a family, and they call them the Pipistrellos, and Pippet comes home to his aunt, who is running like this whole power corporation. So she's like the number one shop. So they run these little rose flowers that provides power for the whole town. And so he comes back from one of his adventures with a yo-yo, where I guess he's trying to be like a professional yo-yoer. And he's secretly trying to go into talk to his aunt to get more money. So he's out of money. Basically, he always comes home to get more money. And so he finds out that somebody had broken into his aunt's power company and basically took a device that steals souls and implants them in mega batteries. So they end up stealing his aunt's soul, and he ends up throwing the yo-yo in the middle of it. And they transfer some of her soul into 5 parts. So 4 batteries and then the yo-yo. And so now he's going around and trying to beat these 4 bosses a la like Mega Man. And reclaim her parts of her soul. So it looks, like I said, it looks like one of those, it's over the top SNES Legend of Zelda look. But the yo-yo, there's the mechanic in there's a yo-yo where you can kind of bounce them off the walls and attack enemies and at different angles using like different ways of geometry. You get more abilities as they go through. It puts you in this open world map where instead of it just like Mega Man, where you just go to the level and you start out there, you got to like travel and traverse and go into this area before you actually start the battle with these enemies. So now they gave me 2 enemies to start with. I'm going now to the first one, and I think he's running like a mall. So he's using this battery, and now like everybody's kind of like brainwashing to try and go into this mall. And so now I got to figure out a way to get in there. So I've only got about an hour in there, but it's sold out everywhere recently. I think I bought it when it first came out on PS5 because I heard good things about it, and they just started reprinting physical copies. But if you buy a digital one, it's not too expensive. I think it's on sale right now on the PlayStation Store for $15.99. I think it regularly runs about $20. I think physical is about like $35. Yeah. So
this looks really, really good.
It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. I've been plugging in, 45 an hour increments here and there, and just gone through it. So
there is a demo on Steam as well. I don't know if there's one for the consoles, but there is one on Steam I'm seeing.
So yeah, I do recommend it. So I mean, if y'all want to try it out, I think it's a good ride. So like I said, I've just started it. It's cleverly written. There's a lot of wit and humor in there, and the gameplay is solid. So it is one of the very few indie games that I think came out from. I think this might be their first game from the studio. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. So
Pipistrello.
That is
Pipistrello.
Pipistrello. Yep.
And the Cursed Yo-Yo.
That is it for me. Gameplay wise, as you guys always know, I've dabbled in 100 million things, but that's majority of what I dabbled in, so that I can speak on right now. So
the main takeaways.
Also, I noted that we didn't bring this up in news, but Skate is finally coming to free to play next month.
Oh,
and so I was part of the beta, and they already gave me the full game. They're like, "Oh, since you were part of the beta, the free game, the full game's yours now. You can play now. I can officially start streaming it after today. The watermarks remain, but it does
awesome.
not push out to everybody else until the middle of September. So I've already had the full retail release on my
All right.
console that I've
Cool.
kind of messed around with a little bit. So that is it. I'll
Who's
pass it
Skate?
over to Brant.
Well, for me, still doing my retread of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Still
Making waves.
pushing, still pushing through the story when I'm not randomly raiding Spanish or English ships and doing all this exploring and stuff. It's super easy to get sidetracked. But last week I was talking about how the pirate colony on Nassau, they were needing medicine and things, so they were trying to find supplies. They eventually discovered that Charlestown had a decent supply of medicine. That's where it kept being shipped out of. So they decided they were going to go to Charlestown and try and get some of this medicine. Edward arrives to find Blackbeard has taken a few townsfolk and has strung them up on his ship, tied them up, and has kept them there for several days as
Dark.
ransom. But the only thing he asked for was medicine and some supplies. And Blackbeard's ready to go in there and just raid everything, and Edward's like, "Hold on, I'll figure it out. Let me go in there quietly." And so he goes in. You do your thing, kill a couple people, but get the medicine. And the last person you kill, he's like, "Oh, you damn pirates! You know this, that, and the other, and you're so despicable." He's like, "He gave you the good choice. All he wanted was medicine. You should have listened." So. With that being successful, you talk to Blackbeard. He kind of talks about how he's getting older and he's tired of going on, so he thinks he might retire. And you of course bring up the fact that you're still looking for this sage fellow named Roberts. And he gives you a hint saying that
Red Pirate Roberts?
No, the sage fellow that's been eluding you forever. But he is on a slave ship that is called the Princess, so Princess, Pirate Robert.
It's all lining up. It's all lining up.
Yeah.
Is there a six-fingered man in this story?
I don't know. I haven't met a giant either. Haven't switched any cups or anyway. So it actually, after that portion, it puts you back out into the offices of Abstergo, where the CEO wants to meet with you again about the progress and everything, about Edward's story. And you go up there, but he's in a meeting, and the IT guy gets in your ear again, and he's like, "Okay, while you're waiting, I need you to go over here and do this. Hack these cameras." Then you do that, and he's like, "All right, well, now I need you to go sneak up into the CEO's office, because you hack the cameras, you overhear a call, I guess, with the higher ups, and they're talking about, we don't care about this Edward Kenway project. We just want to know about the observatory. That's, what we're paying you for is to fund, our other expeditions and this, that, and the other." So, you have to sneak up to his office and get a itinerary for some kind of meeting. You do that. You take it back downstairs and deliver it to Desmond's old allies, and then go back to your desk and get back in the Animus.
Sounds like work. Brent, you're describing
it
work.
Is, pretty
what
much
I do.
It is.
That's what I do at work. Go back to my
so
desk
back-
and get back in the Animus.
So
not my name.
now, so now back in there, it sets back up at the pirates are all at Nassau, but the British Navy shows up. Of course, they're headed by a Templar. He comes in and he's like, I need to see all the governors, round up the governors of your pirate colony here. We need to have a meeting. Takes them to the fort and tells them basically, he's like, look, I got you a pardon right here. You can either sign it or you can hang for piracy.
Ooh.
So, you know, you guys, you had your little experiment here, but you know, the king has come to retake this island. And while you decide, nobody's allowed to leave. You know, there's going to be a blockade out there, so don't even think about it. Well, Edward thinks about it, and they come up with an idea to load a ship with like just gunpowder and pitch, charge the blockade, and get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they do in the dead of night. They just ram the blockade, take off, and are able to escape.
I like a good blockade.
So now,
some good historical blockades through the years.
Now without the pirate home of Nassau, they kind of Edward sets up on a new island. It's called like the Great Iguana or something, but it's now going to be, he wants to make that their new pirate headquarters, which leans into, well, now you have to build this place up, so you have to spend your money to, you know, like buy a new harbor master and, you know, build this over here for the crewmen, like a bonfire for the crewmen, and
yeah,
so there's all this building up.
You craft like how do you flesh out those requirements? Is it like Animal Crossing? You have to go get a certain amount of sticks.
You just walk up to the person and they're like, "Yo, Captain, we need this," or, you know, "We need a place for the crew to unwind. So, you know, we need to build like a bar." Or there aren't any ladies of the night here, you know, and some of the men are stir crazy.
Oh.
We should build a brothel. So
okay.
And it's
usually
just
the
spend
first
the money.
That's also the first building I put in Animal Crossing.
You know, a build it and they will come kind of thing.
How'd you know the name of it?
So after that, you kind of go meet up with Blackbeard, who is trying to retire. Everybody's throwing him a big party.
We're all trying to retire.
But there's a spy in the midst, and it's an ambush. And Navy comes and they start, you know, attacking with cannons. You all jump on a ship, try to get away, and in the commotion, there's troops that board the ship, and Blackbeard winds up dying in front of Edward, and then Edward, you know, jumps back to his ship and sails off, and they're asking him, "What happened? Where's Blackbeard?" You know, he's like, "He didn't make it. You know, we gotta go." So, with all this going on, some of the few remaining pirates, one of them being a Charles Vane, is like, "All right, Edward, I've been hearing your crazy story about this observatory thing, and you say that we could use it to get rich. So everything else is going bad. Let's double down on this. How do we find this place?" And he tells them, "Well, we got to find this guy who's on this slave ship. So let's start hunting down slave ships so we can try and find the princess, which is specific ship, and then we can find the guy and he'll take us to the observatory." So they attack one ship, and afterward, this other pirate named Jack Rackham decides to double cross them. He just goes, you know what? I'm kind of tired of y'all and this reckless stuff you're doing. I've talked to some of the people on your crew, and they think I'd be a better captain. So we're gonna leave y'all on this ship that we just, destroyed, and y'all are gonna be floating out on the open water while I take your ship and leave. So, which it fast forwards to, I guess, you and Charles made it to an island. It shows Edward like actually fishing and hunting, and then Charles just kind of sneaks up behind him, grabs a bunch of his food, and is like, "Don't follow me. I'll kill you if you follow me." And he's like, "Come on, man, what are you doing?" So Charles has gone a little crazy. He's blaming Edward. He's like, we wouldn't be in all this predicament if it wasn't for you, and all this talk of this and that, and your crazy stories. I can't believe I ever,
this fantastical
believed you.
Nonsense.
Yeah. So Edward tries to reason with him, but Charles has found like a stock of grenades and guns. So it's a little hard to get at him, but you eventually wind up having to work your way over, and he can't be reasoned with, and you wind up having to kill him.
There's no other way out of that.
No.
Oh, jeez.
And shortly after you are rescued, there's a passing ship, and Edward kind of is able to hail it and get off that island. Which then it jumps straight to like you back on the island that Edward's set up as the new pirate headquarters.
Yeah.
Meeting with some of his old crewmates and another pirate, and they've got Jack Rackham in chains. And they're talking about how, it only took a couple weeks, and he was crawling back to Nassau to try and get the pardon. And and he's like, I had to. They were on me from the very beginning, and blah blah blah. And so you reclaim your ship. You found out that the princess has been sailing out of Kingston. So that's the next little bit, is to go to Kingston. And after that, I've been doing a bunch of side missions and trying to get a bunch of the there's like these little they call them Mayan keystones that you like have to go and you like solve a tiny little puzzle, and then you dig them out of the ground. And they're another thing like in some of the older like Assassin's Creed 2 games where you got these pieces and they go into a door, and the door opens and it gives you like a legendary piece of armor. So I think I'm missing one, and to get the last one now, I just have to keep progressing in the story. So
I was about to say, do you know where that one's at?
Apparently it's like
just story based.
Yeah, it's something you get like sometime around chapter or sequence 10. They don't call them chapters. Okay. Can't remember which sequence I'm in, but I'm probably pretty close. But that's been Assassin's Creed Black Flag for me so far.
Assassin's Creed adventures continue for Brant. All right, family, it's 10 o'clock. You guys got anything else you want to add?
I think I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.